go. Alright. So, today we are modeling. Let me test the mic quick. Testing. Today we are modeling. Let me test the mic quick. Testing. Yep, it's all good. We're modeling as you can see from the thumbnail, we're going to take a look at this product. So this is just Hotel Chocolat hot chocolate velvetizer, it's called. And not sponsored, just a product that is in my kitchen that I wanted. I saw it and I was like, that's a nice looking product. It's an interesting material. It's quite simple. I thought it would be a good one to do as a tutorial. I just haven't really had the time. This weekend is a good time to do this, as I've got a bit of spare time to actually complete this. So we're going to make a new, actually no, we're going to call that product. And the first step is we're going to get our reference images. Actually, first step is to change the cycles. So we're going to color management to high contrast. We can change the device to GPU, performance, and here we're going to go 512. 512 there too. Let's make the webcam a bit smaller. Yeah, that's better. Alright, and then let's get some reference images in. So let's go with the front on view one. So I took these photos myself, but if you obviously don't have photos of your product and you're doing one from online, or you're doing an iPhone, or you're doing a car or something, just get as many reference images as possible. Make sure that you get a straight on one, top view one, and a side view one. Main ones being front view and top view. Just get the dimensions right. The more the better, really. I'd recommend if you're doing angles like this. Angles like this are best for just like reference, so you don't actually try and model from this, or don't model directly from this. Don't trace this in Blender. Just use this as close-up images and side angles for shape, dimensions, and just to take a look at the product from a more close-up view. So I can see here we've got this pattern on here that we need to create, and we've got the bevel there, and we've got the extrusion obviously, and materials and things. But to actually model, to get this shape right, you want to do straight on front view, as much as straight as possible, straight on top view, which I've got here, because these are the ones that are gonna give you accurate results and try to render it. So we're gonna go to the one view. I'm gonna go 90 on the X, and we're gonna get the dimensions correct. So basically roughly correct. So one of these squares is a meter. Bear in mind the product's probably like this big. I could bring it in here, but I can't really bother. So I probably say it's about this big, which I'd probably say is about 25 centimeters. So it's going to be roughly from like here to here. That's going to be the size of the product. If I go into top view, 7 on the keypad, and I scale down. See from here, it's gonna be like roughly this. Obviously, if you're making a model that's gonna be used for 3D printing, or if you're looking to do things like properly, you should probably measure the product or get the dimensions and then create a template square or something to get the exactly correct dimensions, but we're going to say this is 1 meter from here, probably about this size roughly. Go into the one view, drag it to the middle, Alt G to get it right in the middle, and then we're going to start modeling. So we're going to change this to model, change this to references. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm actually going to start off with a cylinder. I'm going to do the top view first, to be honest. Let's get the top view in. Oh, gee, that bad boy. $90, 0, 0. And bear in mind, my reference images are kind of like all over the place because I took them from different distances. So if I go put these next to each other, you can see this is probably further away than this. Things are not going to be that accurate, really. In this scenario, the reference images are kind of more just for myself, just to look at. So one thing you can do, you go in the layout tab, scale this up, go to the one view, like this. Okay, so we're going to wireframe mode, 1 on the keyboard. Welcome to the stream, everyone. To the stream. Okay, so go on 1, edit mode on 1, wireframe mode, select the bottom, scale it out a bit, go up to here, go upwards, get it in slightly, because it's got this, so I'm selecting the entire row and pressing S, because it's got this sort of inner curve going on. You can see it sort of has a section where it's flat, so we're going to E to extrude these faces up, and then we're going to extrude out again and scale outwards, sorry. And then it's the lid, so the lid I'm going to do separate. I'm going to do it as a separate material. A separate object, sorry. So it's looking a bit too far. Let's get our product in roughly. Bear in mind it's pretty rough. Quite a rough estimate. What you would do if you was more prepared, I would have measured the product, and then right now I'm pressing Control R. So you want to edit mode. You Control R as the default keybind to add an edge loop. This is really important to add. When you add edge loops next to a dissolve these edges. When you add an edge loop next to another edge, it creates a hard crease. If you leave no edge loops next to it, the crease will be, the corner will be, so you see how obviously we've got this circular, not hard line, right? That's because from here, in terms of our topology, which is the breakdown, the architecture of the polygons, the vertices, the faces, the edges on the model, as I add a Control R edge loop here and bring it up, the closer I get to the edge, the supporting edge that's actually there, the more tight it becomes. As I drag it down, it loosens up, and that's how you differentiate in modeling. 3D modeling is quite basic, but if anyone's wondering, if anyone's learning modeling for the first time, this is how you create curves and hard edges. The further away you are from the original edge, the more of a curve there's going to be. If there's no edge at all, it's going to be completely curved, like a circle pretty much. That's why if you make a cube, so let's make a cube now. Probably do a video on this in the future, the beginning, the basics of subdivision. And so if I make a cube and subdivide it, which is essential for modeling. What's your graphics card? I've got 2070 Super. I got it 2020 December? No, 2019 December. Either 2019 December or 2020 December, so a few years now. I want to obviously get, I want to upgrade, but as you may know, right now graphics cards are very hard to come by. Very hard to come by, so I'm just leaving it for now. 2070 Super is more than enough for me right now. Actually, I say more than enough. I am feeling like I need to upgrade. That's just because personally I do a lot of well, I'm especially now doing a lot more high intense work. Right now I'm doing a reveal of this car for a personal project, for portfolio work, which involves cloth mechanics. So, you know, this stuff is quite high demand, so should probably improve. So, as I was saying, so you get a cube, you subdivide it with simple. You change it to Chocolat, which is basically just a smooth subdivision. It becomes a circle because there's no supporting edge loops on the main edges of the object. So I press Control R and I create an edge loop, and see how the closer I bring it, the more hard the edge becomes. I can do it on the other side, and it'll do the same thing. If I leave it on the other side, it stays more curved. So now you can see we're nice and tight here, but there's still a curve going on. That's because the other edges, so this one here, doesn't have an edge loop. So I can leave it here if I want. This is the shape I want it, but if I wanted to make more of a cube shape, I'd add another edge loop, and I'd put it up here and bring it up here, and then boom, you can see we've still got some curvature going on. If this is what you want, this is fine. But the reason we have that curvature is because this side hasn't been edge looped. And then now, if you look at just this corner, oh, there's another one there. Bring this one up. We should, yeah, have edge loops at every possible angle. So this corner is as hard as it can be, pretty much. You do the same down here, adding the edge loops. This is just a real fundamental of modeling that you really need to pick up if you're. That's probably one of the first things you need to pick up and understand if you're learning modeling. Okay, so we're gonna add an edge loop here, as mentioned. We're gonna take the face off of this. I'm gonna go in simple mode so I can actually see the edges better. And we're gonna take this edge and we're gonna E to extrude and then S to scale it in, holding shift to get a more accurate result. Just so we have a bit of a angle there. So I can see from here the shape's kind of off. So I think the bottom needs to be larger, and it's got this kind of like weird thing going on where it's kind of like bigger here. So it kind of like here. Scale it out there. Scale it in here maybe. It goes like in slightly here. Kind of weird. I'm trying to figure it out. Add an edge up here. I think we need to make this larger. to be honest, with the basic shape and stuff, this will kind of do for now in terms of the shape. I might have to adjust later on. So as you can see on the front, so we've got one on the front as well. If I get our reference image, I get all our reference images up. Hotel, Chocolat reference. Where's the on button? Okay, there. So we've got on both sides, we've got this square that's extruding into the. Thank you for the sub, man. Appreciate that. Thank you, Ferris. So we're gonna need to make this. There's a multitude of ways we can do this. So when you're making cuts or when you're having intrusions in your model, you can either change the topology of the model, so you can actually work within the vertices of the model. So I could take this, I could go like, well, first of all, actually I want to make some edge seams. I'm going to mark some seams for UV mapping later on before I complicate the model too much. Always a good idea. So I'm going to make one here. I'm going to right click, I'm going to go into select mode, hold alt and then click to get the whole edge loop. Right click, mark seam. This is marking seams. Oh, like light almost fell over. This is marking the seams for UV mapping later on. If we use, I'm not sure if we're going to need to use UV mapping right now, but just in case, like a knife edge cut here, and then mark that as a seam too. UV map it right now. Check the UV maps. So we've got pretty clean UV mapping going on there, so that's all good. But the layout. Okay, so yeah, one thing as well I'm seeing now is here. There's more of a actual line there. More of a point there. Does that actually extrude inwards? I don't know if it extrudes in. It might. I think it does, you know. I think there's a point on here where this. So go in wireframe mode 3. Select the entire edge. E to extrude and S. I'm going to go inwards slightly. Yeah, I think that is correct. I think it does go slightly inwards at the top there. And then we're going to just go into one mode and just bring up the vertices slightly. Maybe less than that. And it's quite a curved edge, so yeah, that's looking good. I think so. Scale these inwards. And at the bottom here, you can see how there's a bit of a curve. It's not so flat. So I'm going to remove this edge here. And you've got more of that curved vibe going on down there. Same down here. Maybe not that much, maybe a bit more. So the bottom is less flat. So I've just basically removed this edge. Maybe add another one, but not as close. I could just leave it, I think. Yeah, it's good as it is at the moment. I know what's happened. Let me go back in time. There you go. Nice. Okay, that's better. At the bottom. Oh, I haven't even saved the file yet. Definitely do that. Chocolat. Alright. Let's continue, shall we? So, basically with this, we've got a couple of things, a couple of details. So we've got these Hotel Chocolat square sections, and then we've also got another intrusion here. So let's think about the best way to do this. If I So I've made a little square in the front. You can see that it's not aligned perfectly, so we'll move it across. We're going to add edge loops as well. Here, 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 here. Not so tight though. What's quite hard about this is as we move the edges away from the original supporting edge, kind of messing up the curve that we had going on with the I feel like that works pretty well though. How much will this mess up the model if I remove these edges? A lot. When did you start Blender? Like, how long have you been doing this? So Blender, more than 6 months. Blender, what's the month? It's May. It's at the 5th month. So if you count May as a month, for 5, 6, so 7 months on Blender. But 3D modeling, I started a couple years ago. 2 years. Maybe even 3. Well, I first started modeling like 4 years ago, but then I didn't do it for a while. So my initial experience with 3D modeling was not 7 months ago. I had some experience before. I went through the process of learning like the edge loops and how just the basics of modeling. Like, I've got some work on my computer from a really long time ago. So like I had experience before. But Blender as a software I learned 7 months ago. The experience before was in 3ds Max. But a lot of things carry over, a lot of things don't. But the general, I had a head start because the general principles of 3D modeling is the same whatever software. So edge loops, vertices, bevels, extrusions, and all sorts really, curves and all this stuff. It carries over. It's just the interface is different. That's the only thing. So yeah. So the problem we have now, so let me explain the problem we have now, is that I've added edge loops here, to help create more of a square look. But now the edge loops go all the way up to the top, and then we have a difference in with our cylinder. See how at the moment on this side all the edges going down are evenly distributed, meaning that we have a nice smooth surface. But when you get to here, because we've got two edge loops going here and here, it's creasing slightly, and you can see it. So the way to solve this is either to try remove the, so I'm going to remove the edge loops completely right now, to just get rid of it for now. One sec. Is that alright? Yeah, okay. Or so what I'll do, okay, so I'm going to bring this out, and I'm going to try the two methods on both sides. So we can either carry on what we're doing and add the edge loops and find a way to make it not messed up pretty much. It might be that we need to subdivide once, so we have more vertices on our mesh to play with. It might be that. It might be we need to add edge loops here and then remove them here, but then don't mess up the mesh. We'll have to play around with it. But I'm going to try the other method of adding a hole into your mesh by adding in a new model. I'm going to do Boolean here, so we can use the Boolean method. So if we go on our front view and we make it in the same size, front view, really how long it takes to learn softwares really depends on the person. It depends how much time you put in. It's hard to say, okay, I did this 6 months ago, I did this, and then you can, people try to draw parallels to how long it's going to take them, but it really depends on the person. 6 months for one person might be completely different to someone else. Either 6 months is so 7 months on Blender, but that doesn't explain the fact that I had previous experience in 3D modeling before I started with Blender. So I already learned lots of 3D stuff before. I didn't just start 7 months ago never using a 3D software before. And then there's also how fast someone learns. So some people just pick stuff up quicker than others. Some people are just more able to do that. And some people learn stuff quick in other aspects of life. So they might learn languages super quick, or they might be really good at writing stuff, but they might struggle with technology, they might struggle with software and learn picking up that stuff up quick. Also 6 months for like one person. In terms of the better way to measure it, if you had to, would be more hours put in. There's no way on the default Blender to learn how many hours you've been used on software. I'm not actually sure if there is. I guess if you use the Steam version you could, but I don't use the Steam version. Maybe there is a way they'll add on something that shows how many hours you've spent in Blender. But 6 months for someone that might have spent 10,000 hours. Something get maybe more than that, maybe 5,000 hours, 6,000 hours, whatever. So a lot of time. I don't know if mathematically that makes sense. I've just made that up in my own head. But let's say they've spent 5,000 hours in Blender in a certain time period. But this other person doesn't have as much time to practice. They're only doing it a couple nights a week when they get the chance, and they've only spent 1,000 hours in 6 months. This person's going to be further. This 6 months is going to be, the 6,000 hours is going to be closer than the 1,000 or whatever I said. So it's kind of hard. And one of them might learn stuff quicker, like I mentioned. So, alright, so we're going to make this the right size, roughly. This might work better, might not. Only time will tell. So we're going to do it the other side. And we're going to add, so the as you can see on the actual product, the square cutting in is not, it's not a perfect square, it's not perfect edges like this. So we're going to need to add a subdivide and work with the edge loops like we showed before. So we're going to add an edge loop here, 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 and roughly here, so we get more of a curved edge. It's not a circle, but it's not a full. If I added all these, if I moved all these closer to the edge, it's going to get sharper. So maybe maybe a little bit higher, like here and here is what we need. And then so here too, roughly. And then we're gonna go inwards, right? And then I can't actually remember off the top of my head which way around it is. Hide. I always name my booleans hide me. Hide me square. Which way round is it? I think it's you add the. I always forget. Add the boolean on here. Hide the boolean. Yeah, it is. Okay. So I think this is a better method because it doesn't mess with our mesh. The problem I've had in the past with booleans is that when you add a lot of them, and you have to be careful with polygons and stuff because it can really use up a lot. Or personally, I've found it's used up a lot of computer power. So I only want it to intersect a bit. It's only a small extrusion, so I mean, to be honest, it doesn't really matter how much it goes in because we're gonna put a block, a separate object block in here anyway, the Hotel Chocolat block, so it doesn't really matter too much how far in it goes. It's just actually more the shape that needs to be more correct. So looking at, so what we'll do now, consider this view, take out this edge, take out this edge, take out this edge, and move back to the square that we had before. We're going to move this to the front. Let's get the scale right, shall we? So there, like that. So it's more tall, more like this, I would say. This has been subdivided. No. Hide it. There we go. So that's a lot better. And then what we can do from there is make a copy paste square one, and we can just this time go into the top view, make it a lot smaller, plot that in there, and one, get the rotation right. It's actually more like smaller and more like inside. There you go. And then I would add the Hotel Chocolat logo, Chocolat logo, Hotel Chocolat logo to the top of it, so to the front of it. Add some UV mapping there, and barring a few like adjustments potentially, it's looking pretty good. What I can do, I could do this, or I could just not be lazy and the other side. Actually, let's just be lazy. And should we be lazy? No, let's not be lazy. Well, no, actually, no, let's be lazy. We're only going to model this from one side at the moment, so we just won't do the other side. Reference. We just do the exact same thing on the other side, but I don't actually need to do it because I'm not modeling it. So let's make the lid. Base. Let's make a new. Right now, don't want to make this tutorial too long. You're just going to do the exact same thing on the other side. If you need to model the entire machine, but we're just going to do the one side. We're just going to do a front on render like this, so it doesn't really matter to us if we don't do the back, but we do need to do the handle and the lid. So make a new collection called lid. We're going to make it a cube. The reason we're making it a cube is Let's add this in. Let's make it roughly the same side. We want to subdivide it to get something like this. It's actually a plane. Plane works actually. I don't know how I managed to make a plane by accident, but that's fine. Okay, up on the top. In that case, you know what, let's just make a circle. Scale it down. So this is going to be our lid. We're going to go down like this. Put on the top. Solid view so I can see what's going on. Okay, I'm going to go one on the front view, scale it down. We're going to edit mode and then press F to all the faces the same. Scale that up. I can't actually remember what the lid looks like, so get it nice. Okay, and on the top. So I actually figure it out. Wait, what? I think it goes in and down. I think on the inside there's a thing here. Subdivide it. So add an edge loop here and here. See underneath, add an edge loop here and here. Kind of messed that up, I think. Can't really tell. Why didn't I take a good one of the lid? This one doesn't make sense to me. What's this line? I'm gonna need to go take another one of the lid quick. I literally will not be long. Oh, whoops. welcome back. Let's send ourselves the images. So I've got a better idea of the lid now. Alright, send it to ourselves then. We go on Facebook. Let's hide that. Okay. Let's get the images up. We're gonna save these images. Save reference 6. Save. Oh, whoops. Save 7. Have that. Alright, I'll go back to the camera. Okay, so we've got new. Oh, whoops. I just press back on that. I think I did. Oh, whoops. There we go. Alright, so this lid, it's like kind of confusing. So it has an initial out, then it goes downwards, then another out, then flat, and then on the inside it has this sort of thing going on with a band. I guess I don't really have to model this, but you know what? I will model it just for the sake of just, you know, making it more profesh, I guess. So, and showing you how you'd model something like that. So, yeah, screw it. It won't take that long. Just being lazy. So, I'm just being lazy by not doing it. So, right, let's go up. Yeah. Never know, I might do an animation with this as a follow-up. So, in that regard, I probably want to model the whole thing. So actually it needs to be this size to match the entire. I'll get that up on my second monitor and zoom in. Actually, let's do the other one, top view one. Alright, so it goes a little bit like this. So edit mode, F, then we're gonna, first of all we're gonna make it thicker. Then we're gonna extrude in. Remove the bottom face. Go down. And actually make another extrusion. Just eye on this. Make another one. Then go down. This, and make Shift I is the inset face. It's really good for squares or mostly circles when you select a face. Press Shift I and it will bring this up, and then you can drag in to make a it's kind of it for that section at least. So you'd say you probably want, let's make it black so we can see it better. Excuse me. So yeah, we'll make a thingy here, here. Bring this up a bit. Okay, nice. And then on the bottom, I flip this 180. Let's take our reference image of the bottom. It's got the initial bit of this, and then it's got another band. Go make a new circle, scale it down. Let me add in the reference image so you can see what I'm doing. Wow, big image, okay. Whoa, that's flipped. Oh no, why did it flip? Oh, there we go. There you go. Although that's a bit small, but it's better than nothing. Alright, so go up. Bear in mind this is now flipped, and it goes around the outside. As you can see, it's this white section there. Just bring it back up on my screen. So it's a white section that goes around there. It's missing, I'm gonna say 2 of the thingies. Face, vertex, dissolve vertex, dissolve edge, dissolve. Let's just let them all. They go up. Then E and then out a bit on the top one. And E and then out even further on the bottom one. Then there's a cut here and here. We remove this face and this face. The cut in the other side too. We remove this face and this face. And then we take, I just want to go into one view, make it taller. And it's kind of like that with a subdivision modifier on it. You can see we can increase the realism of this. But I want to select all of these, go down a bit. Just set all of these go face. Go down a bit. Same thing with the top. So simple mode. Select all the edge loops. 1 and then 3. Extrude up slightly. I'd say it probably needs to go up more again. If I put this here. Kind of looks like this. Up on the extrusion. Scale it in a little bit. And this, scale this in. That's kind of what it looks like with a subdivision on it. Actually, this. Yes. This actually comes out a bit more. Oh yeah, whoops. Whoops, so I have to go around and put no. Alright, we're gonna have to go for a shift, select an F. All these together because they need to be I've been silly and done it wrong. One there, one one there, one there, one there, one there, one there, and there. Let's add. Right, let's add. Actually, doesn't. That's good, isn't it? Oh, that makes sense, to be fair. That does make sense. That doesn't connect. Alright, I completely messed the bottom side of this up, so what do? You just delete it. Don't be afraid just to delete stuff if you just messed it up. Just do it. Like, fixing this now is just gonna take too long. And it's not a very complex part of the model. It's not very complex at all, really. I can just redo it properly this time. So all that's gone wrong is that we just need to scale out again, select all of these, and go down. Wait, what? Dissolve edge. Ah, the still vertices just flying about doing what they want. Problem there. Problem here, obviously, we've got a missing part. One sec. There, 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 there. So now I know it's right. If I select this edge loop and it goes all the way around, problem here, boys. There you go. Alright, select this edge loop. Does it go all the way around? Yes, it does. This to this. Yes, they all do. Lovely. Now, extrude again. This time, I'm just gonna not be lazy, and I'm actually just gonna select all these faces here. Edge loop here. Face. Delete. Let's just make it further out. Same with the other side. Oh, so I've been stupid and done it wrong again. There we go. Okay, and then I'm gonna select all these edges, here, here, 1, 3. Just shoot up this time. There we go. See, it's probably just quicker just to do it again. Go down to clips. There. Nice, and then now we've got like a pretty accurate representation of the bottom. We're going to parent this to this. Parent object. I'm going to make this one subdivided. Move it by itself. That's all good. Have that edge loop here because it's actually sharper than that. Sorry if I missed anything. Ah, there you go. Hello, Crowpout. Where am I from? I'm from the UK. England. Okay. There you go. Yes. Right, let's flip it again. And then place it on top. And then scale up a bit. You can see from here that we have more of a curve down here. Let's get the scale right. Like so. There you go. Nice. Handle. We need to do the handle. To be honest, rather than being lazy, shall we just do the this too? Let's just do it. Let's just do both sides. Just do the entire model. Let's not be lazy now. Let's just do it. Hide me square 2. Make a new boolean. Hide me square 2. Reduce hide me square, reduce hide me square. Make square 1. Come on to the side of you. Duplicate this. Flip it so it is 180 this way. 0 this way. Actually, no, a little bit that way makes sense. Right, and then we got one on the other side too. Alright, nice. Let's do the handle, shall we? Let's do the handle. So let's get reference image in for everyone and myself to see. So let's do the handle. So let's make a new collection called handle. And then go on to side view. It's about this high. We're going to make a circle to start with. Lots of circles today. We're going to scale it down. We're going to rotate on the X90 and the Z90. We're going to scale it in. It's all by eye, so it might not be perfect straight away, but we can fix it later. the general flow is I select all the edges, F to fill, 3. We're going to scale it outwards. It scales again for a cut, and then out again comes inwards. And then goes along. And then I assume it goes in and up a bit before going fully up into the entire handle. And then stops at the end. And it kind of looks like that. If I compare to our, you can see maybe it goes out too far. And probably is a bit too tall too. Maybe a bit further down. Out. Got the 1D. Let's rotate these so it fits more. Let's subdivide it and add our edge loops. So some of them I already did, but we need one here. Need a seam here, seam here. Seam here, seam here probably, seam here, scale this inwards, or inset face that inwards, let's make an edge loop here. Rotate that a bit, scale it in. So it's actually connecting with the inside. Okay, nice. I want to move that back here to get our okay. So the scale, I think you need. Oh, whoops. Go down a bit and out a little bit. Up a bit, that. So from here to here, go on this mode, select this mode, this face is here, this face is here as well. Materials, new, mesh handle, it's called. So it's just a black for now, so we can actually differentiate. Front view, we've got from, let's add a seam here, from here, including this edge here, make a new, and we're going to call it base. It's going to be our material roughly. That's going to also be that. Actually, that it's not. It's a different type of black. This is a glossy black. New, no, sorry, new material. Glossy black. It's just gonna be black with some roughness turned quite far down. Assign that to that. Subdivide it. Add an edge loop here. And tighten this one here. And there. Here we go. Actually is a small part. Looking at it. These parts here are actually, yes, are actually the glossy black color. Let's edge loop here to stop that going into there. Perfect. Let's make the base that color. It's not completely accurate right now, but actually, oh, fucking, oh, I've done that quite well so already. And then this is actually the glossy black as well as this. In terms of the color, I've almost done that very well so far. And the lid. So the lid is actually going to be a form of transparent. The roughness down, and the coating is going to be not coating. Settings. I'm going to change. No, sorry, viewport display, alpha clip. Alpha clip. Go into that, should be able to slightly see it. As I go upwards. Now, this is going to be a lid white. It's going to be transparent too, with some roughness all the way down. Same thing with this, alpha clip. It's going to be that. Blend mode and shadow mode, change to alpha clip. And it's gonna go down onto the actual model. So let's get logo, shall we? So it's just simple Hotel Chocolat logo, so I'm sure that won't be hard to find. Oh, sorry, no one's no E is there. That's why you say Hotel Chocolat. Alright. Let's get just say 4K, let's get the highest res one possible. This might be good enough. It's only 4,000 by 800. Because this one is a lot larger, so. Logo. And then we're going to go into our editing software of choice. And we're going to paste it in. No, we're not going to paste it in, we're going to drag it in by color, and we're going to take away this color here. It's not, oh, view, reset. I'm going to add an alpha channel. Not sure if the quality is what we, nah, that's not what we want. That's just not good enough. Let's get one with better quality. Hotel Chocolat. It's so normal just to put the E on the end. Logo. And none of these like actually good quality. This is better. As if that's a scalable vector. Is it? Thanks, Amber. I appreciate that. Yep, we're working on it right now. Bit of a walkthrough tutorial style, which is quite common with what I do. Let's get up photo editing software again. Not if I can export this in. I can. Okay, it's definitely better quality, so that's good. This will be enough for us. It's enough for what we need, and we'll overwrite it like this. So now what we'll do, go back into our model. Let's select our object, and we're actually going to rename this. We're actually going to make a new material. We're going to copy the glossy black from this. If I control paste it a few times, front logos, turn that down. Let's copy these again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Have to do it lots of times. Even then, doesn't really work. View frame all. Okay, let's just do one ourselves then. Material output, principal BSDF into the surface, black all the way down, roughness down to image texture, a logo, plug that in, and then make this front logo. Because we added our seams from before, that's why it was important to do this. You can see now if I go front view, material, the front section is separate to the back, so we can just scale the back down, put it in the black section. You can select all of this, scale it up. We can mirror it, rotate 180, enter, and then we can make it the right size. Where's the reference images gone? Yeah, we are. I thought we were going to have a problem with that. So image canvas size. So if you're having problems with this, where you try to like scale your logo down on your product, and you end up with it repeating itself because you need it smaller, but when you see if I show this right, so we need the Hotel Chocolat logo to be like this big, but as you can see when I scale it down, the UV map goes outside the bounds of the image. So you'd think maybe, okay, maybe let's just scale it in so it's the right size, but then you don't get the repeating itself, but then it's the wrong size. So what you want to do is just go into where you've saved your logo and just basically increase the canvas size, so the size of the actual image, so that the logo is smaller, so there's more room, there's basically more black sections. So export as logo, and then shading, remove it, add it in again. So as you can see, it's much smaller now, so it's with a lot more wiggle room where you can just make it like basically the perfect size and dimensions without worrying about it clipping or anything. It repeating itself, sorry, I should say. Like this. You can see from the size, it's pretty much perfect. Maybe not quite, but let's do the same thing on this. So shading, front logo, UV editing, select everything, select the back, scale it down, put it in the black section. So basically anything that's transparent ends up black anyway, so that's why I just did transparent background. R, 180, enter, scale it up, get the scale correct, put it in the middle roughly, and there you go. So that's the logo done. I kind of want to work on the mesh here, so I've got a layout. So you've got this mesh look going on. Probably a good way to recreate this would be just to go onto Google and go mesh material 4K. Just get yourself like a similar-ish sort of mesh material. This one's pretty good. Actually, this one's much better. We'll save it as mesh. Go on to our editing software, our image editing software. I do use Photoshop, but I also use GIMP too, so I'd highly recommend if you're looking to get into digital world, you at least learn the basics of photo editing. You don't have to be like a master in color grading stuff, but you need to learn how. It's very important to know how to just change colors of things and change the scale of stuff and overlap images. It's just really important, and you can do the basic of that in this. So this software is called GIMP. Funny name, I know, but it's actually really good. It's completely free, and it actually does a lot of stuff for free, which is really good. I do have Photoshop too, which I use for like color grading and just getting stuff like really professional and really cool. But a lot of just the normal stuff, I spend more time in GIMP than I do Photoshop, that's for sure. Color, desaturate, color to color to gray works too, to be honest. And then colors, curves. And we basically just want to accentuate the black and the white and just make them separate, because we're going to make a bump map. And on a bump map, black is basically you can invert it in Blender, but black is basically I can't remember what the default way is, but extruding into the object. White would be increasing the height of the map. A bump map doesn't actually change the geometry; it's just a illusion effect. I can't remember which way black and white is, but basically black goes one way, white goes the other. So you want to make, if you want to make deep grooves, you want to make sure that you have the separation there. So we're going to rethingy this and call it mesh. Might not work straight off the bat, but let's just see. So we'll go shading, we'll go over, zoom in, and we'll select our face, one of the faces, and mesh handle. We see here we go, image texture, down to the bottom where we add a bump node, which will be connected to the normal, the color to the height of the bump node, and we're going to open our mesh. Let's select it all. I haven't UV mapped it yet. There you go. Okay, so this is our mesh. Why is it so messed up? Should be super simple. We probably want to add an edge loop here. Mark seam. What's the difference between a bump and a displacement? So displacement map will a displacement map basically, it depends on the displacement map. You have vector ones and normal ones, but bump is just like a visual illusion effect. If you put a proper displacement map in, now it's a bit complicated with Blender in terms of displacement maps. They're not 100% there with being able to, you have to kind of go workarounds to make a proper displacement map. But the idea is that a displacement map actually changes the geometry of the mesh, like a height map, more like, where actually you can actually, let's say you're making like a mountain or whatever, you can actually change the geometry of the mesh. Whereas a bump map, it doesn't change the geometry. It's just a visual effect going on top of the mesh that makes it look like the geometry is changing, basically giving the illusion of a 3D look without actually changing it. It's better for performance and stuff, obviously. So we're going to connect these two edges here with a knife cut, I think. I'm going to mark the scene. I'm going to re-UV map it. And there we go. So now we're looking much more better. So go UV mapping. Select this. Select what would be our shift. Scale upwards. There you go. So where's our reference image layout? Pretty good, I'd say. Not gonna lie. I mean, pretty damn good. I mean, good enough for what is basically just taken off Google Images. I mean, if I wanted to change the rotation slightly in the reference image, I need the reference image back. It's like scale the other way. like this way more. And if we go in shading and change the roughness down, we get that sort of metallic, not metallic, because metallic is not metallic material. We just basically reduce the roughness, so the light's bouncing straight back off it, and it's giving off reflections, kind of. The reflections are coming through at least. And if we go into our rough, I think that's pretty good, pretty close. Yeah, I'd say let's go in shading, UV mapping. There. Let's increase the width. Excuse me. Sneezing a lot, apparently. Rotate 90. Rotate 0. Scale 1. Rotate 0. It's kind of like more. You can see in this side the object. They're more square than these ones. That's for sure. See how these ones look more like hexagons, like more circular, and then in this they're more like completely square. So that's not exactly correct. But you know, when you zoom out, it's pretty good. We're not making the most insane thing ever. If I was to do a close-up of this, I mean, I guess I probably could get a mesh bump map that's more accurate, but I think for now this is fine for the render that we're doing today. If I do animation or anything or get closer up, I think I probably would try get a texture map, a texture of Google and stuff, a bump map that is more square rather than this oh my god, I can't speak. Circular, whatever. I'll just call it circular. Than this. So let's select all of these. This one, scale it up. We need this one too. Alright, it's there and there. We'll scale these up, making sure they're roughly the same. So if I bring them in, you get something more like what we're actually looking for. Nice. So I think we're missing a few things. I think. What are we missing? I feel like we are. Maybe. Oh yeah, we are. We are missing the on button, so pretty important. We need to be able to turn the product on, don't we? Also, I feel like. I need to set it up in the actual render to see how accurate this is in terms of size and things. The handle's really good. I really like the handle. Okay, and I like the lid too. It's just the shape of this is not completely correct. I'm gonna have another go. It's the bottom. It's like this bottom part. It's actually the same width. Like up here. But I feel like we can get closer to what we need in the actual, we actually set up the lighting and stuff. So we literally just need to do the on button. There's an on button, which is pretty important. I suppose we should probably render it. As you can see from this image, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do the same thing, but this time as we did with the squares, but we're going to do the circle instead. There's also this logo here that I've just realized. Velvetizer, Velvetizer. I don't have the font for this. So what we're going to do is 1, 2. We're going to at least make the these the right shade. Will probably be easier now that I've added. Probably be easier if I added just another circle. Let's add another circle, handle, right, mesh circle, scale it up, 1990, there it is, bring it up here, bring it out, back in that view, scale it in, like this, up like this, set all the faces, fill them, extrude them out slightly, make them oh, can't spell, a metal color, metallic all the way up, roughness down a little bit, subdivide it, add edge loop, add an inset face with shift I here, inset face with shift I there, do it like this. If I go on the reference, it's actually more like this. This is actually black still. Go like this, go all the way up, assign mesh, this inner section, assign base, Actually, more like that. You can see it's like more of this section. Oh. There we go. It's more like this. And there's a screw each side and a velvetizer thing at the top. I don't have the font for the velvetizer, so I won't add that. Or the screws, but you know. I don't want this story to be too long. Okay, let's add this button then, shall we? So go. Let's make another circle. They're popular today, aren't they? 90 layout. It's on this side where the handle is. One on the front of you. Scale it inwards. I go on to our reference images. Let's bring 2 in, shall we? 2 in. Subdivide it. Even this has to be subdivided, otherwise you'll notice the polygonal faces. You will notice them even in the Boolean effect. So, okay. Rotation slightly, so it's more in line with the angle of the same height as the thingy. Okay, subdivide it. Let's name it hide me circle. Base another Boolean hide me circle. Hide the circle. Who would have guessed it? Add another circle, but this one's just going to be on button. It's going to slot in there with a seam here. For now, it's going to be glossy black. Nice. We need an actual on button on this. So if I go hide me circle 2, select that and that. Let's get that. I want to select this and this. I go go up a little bit. And then let's find a on button logo. They're very similar. It's just a generic on button, so we should be fine with using just a generic one. Let's remove that. Actually, whoops, we need to open it back up again. Okay, let's drag our on button logo in. Select by color, all of these, add a alpha channel. Little problem. We're gonna have to go around the edge and select, or is there another on button logo we can use? Let's try this one. Remove these. Oh, whoops. Select none. Scale down. Same thing again, so there's just more wiggle room on the outside and things. Export as on bump. 1, 2, 3, 4 as PNG file. So we've got the transparency. We're going to make a new material by making a new plane. Call it on button. No, we're going to go back on button. Didn't actually need to do that, but make the plane. But just because I thought this has already had a material assigned to it. Okay. Was this our hide me one? It is. Whoops. So we didn't make a plane. Nice. On button. Image. Texture. On bump. We're going to make a bump map to start with. Let me look at the reference images 1 sec. References. Here it is. So what actually is it? Okay. Okay, no, maybe image texture might be best then. It's not actually extruding it, it's just more like... So on this. Set the whole thing. UV unwrap. Select. Scale down our smaller circle, which is the back, and then increase the size of this. Rotate it 90. Go front view, rotate it to it's perfect. And what we want to do is we want to make it the same shade. If I go through, I mean, I've actually made one of these before. Why don't I just use that? So open recent thermostat, save. Here it is. Control C, open recent hotel chocolat. So the way I made this was that basically I went into a Blender file, I got one of these up, and then I just took a plane and just literally trace modeled this out to make the scale correct. 1 on the viewport. Obviously that is wrong. Like roughly that. Let's get it in slightly. Take the whole thing. Just join the two. Extrude it outwards. Take it this way. Just make this glossy black. Make this actually grey. Edge loops here. I should just remove that edge loop. There we go. Great. Great. Okay, let's set up a new... Okay. So, make a new thingy called camera lighting. So now we're going to light the scene and everything. And what that's going to allow us to do is to see if the shape is correct and the materials are correct with actually good lighting. So first of all, we're going to add a... Sorry if I've missed any questions. Here we go. I have missed a question. Okay. I've answered the bump and displacement one. I have problem with Boolean. When I hit render, the object just still there. How do I remove it? So, likely what the problem, one of the problems is, so you might have followed my steps, which is you go into here, and it's a good, oh, where's it gone? Oh, there it is. Like I said, good idea to name them hide me, so you know which ones to actually hide for the Boolean effect. And you press this I key here. Now that's good, apart from the fact that this I key here only hides the object in the viewport, not the render. I just haven't rendered yet, so I haven't done it yet, but when I render I would have, or well, I'm going to. So what you want to do is select this button up here, restriction toggles, and then select this camera icon. At the moment it's grey, you want to select it so it's blue. Then what will happen is next to all your objects you'll have this other option next to the eye with the camera. Basically this is what disables it in the render as well as just the viewpoint. So you want to go to all your booleans that you need to hide in the render and select this off too, and then it will hide the boolean in the render as well as the viewport. That's likely your problem. Let me know if that doesn't fix it, otherwise it's more of a problem with the actual boolean. BCB, nice to have discovered your channel. Hope these videos will stay in the channel. Yeah, of course. So after I finish streams, I will, it's great that you are enjoying the videos. Once I finish the stream, it goes live. The whole process will be, you'll be able to watch it back, the whole live stream, the whole tutorial, and then sometimes I will also cut it down into like a 10-minute tutorial, and also for this one I'll do a short 1-minute overview as well. Okay, very nice. So we're gonna add a camera. So first of all, what I want to do is just select everything here. I'm not gonna parent it all yet. I was gonna just say I'm gonna parent it all, so it all attached to one object, but I don't want to do that yet because I'm not sure the sizing is completely correct on the base of the object. I don't want to mess things up too soon, parenting them and then having problems when I move stuff around. So let's just leave it like that for now. Let's move it relatively in the center. Could have Alt-G'd, but that's fine. And then let's add a camera. I'm going to focal length, we're going to go 80, and then we're going to use, basically we're going to do a 3 viewport. Oh my god, there we go, we got there in the end. 3 viewport setup. We're going to shader editor down here. We're going to have the camera up here, and we're going to have a normal viewport here. So we're going to scale it outwards. Yeah, you fixed it. Perfect. Beautiful. Okay, and then we're going to go like this. And as you can see, we've already got some clipping issues, so that's good. We're going to make this 90 degrees, 0 and 0, so we know it's definitely straight. And we're going to make it square with 3K by 3K. And then we're also going to go into here, go on viewport display, composition guides, thirds in the center. And we're going to move our thingy backwards. We're going to scale it up so it lines up with our model lines up with the third rule of thirds. And then we're going to shift tilt it downwards a little bit. We're going to go out more because you can see it's not quite scaling correct. I'm going to go down a little bit. And then we are going to tilt it up slightly. This will do for now, probably change it a little bit later. As you can see, we've got a bit of a problem here. So go on our Boolean. That's the problem. I've been silly. I've forgotten to, when I moved the object, to move the booleans too. So that's a bit stupid. So let's add them back in roughly here. Might take some readjusting. On the back, even though it doesn't really matter too much because right now I'm not rendering the back, but I'm thinking of doing an animation with this in, so yeah, probably a good idea to get everything perfect. Do the animation, probably have to add the velvetizer thingy there. Instead of complicating this, let's just make this mesh. Make this mesh 2. Let's just make another one of these. Scale it up. Make it base. Move it into Eclipse. Move this out. That's just a lot easier. Alright, nice. So yeah, this is wrong again, probably, I'm gonna guess, because the boolean's over here. Yeah, it is. Silly me. Let's move it back over. It's supposed to be the camera viewpoint. I always end up modeling in that one. I'm not sure why, but it's a problem I always do. Alright, it would be sort of here. And then let's get it to clip back in. Okay. Hide it. No, hide me. Okay. And the on button is now messed up. Technically this does light up when it's on, so let's just shoot it up so it lights up. Just looks cool. Okay. Nice one. Let's have a drink. Thirsty. Let's check the F1 qualifying too. Alright. So, I'm gonna copy and paste this in, but I will show you how you create it. So first of all, go into your lighting setup and you make a circle. Then you fill in all the vertices and you make sure that it's nicely set up on the bottom of your product there. Now I'm going to copy and paste what I've already done in, but for yourself, for the sake of showing you, I will show you how to create it. So this is off a YouTuber that I took this from. So shading, it's just such a good way to add a plate at the bottom, add a floor. Okay, so material output into a mix shader, transparent BSDF. I mean, technically, yeah, just do it like this. Transparent BSDF, mix shader, and a glossy and diffuse into this mix shader. Then the mix shader that is combining the glossy and diffuse mixes with the transparent BSDF. It's like this. Take a screenshot now if you want to. Then gradient texture into UV map on the FAC. Okay, so UV editing, go up to this. But if you press X, minus 0.5. How did I do it before? I mean, basically you put it in the corner here. And then you get diffuse coming out from the middle. Okay, then let's add our lighting. So we'll go 3-point lighting to start off with as standard. This is very standard with product photography, so of items at least. So we'll add one big light at the top here. We'll add another one to the side. The rotation on the x-axis to wait one sec. To that. No, minus 90, and then we're Alt D to duplicate it. The Alt D means that it shares some of the same properties. So meaning when we change the power of these two on the side, it will change each one together rather than separately, just ease of use pretty much. And then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna check it out to start with. So nice symmetry going on. That's always good. Always like a bit of symmetry. Let's turn the area light off for now, and then go like this. So with this product in particular, so with a lot of products, what you could do from here is increase the backlighting. All right, increase the backlighting, and then from here, sort of your product will look pretty good. To be honest, it will look like nice and clean and everything, and you'll probably be happy with that. Change the lighting around, do some photo editing, all that stuff will be really good. And I'm going to show you a technique to make the background completely white later. But with this product, it's a transparent object. So not transparent. It's a metallic material. This is metallic, meaning that it reflects, reflects the environment around it. So without any actually things really in the environment. So you see at the moment the global texture, the global light and the environment is completely grey. So that means that it's not reflecting anything other than the light. And that there is a way to make this, you can, when you play around, make this look quite nice. But really what we want is we want some reflections in the actual image, in the actual product, sorry, reflecting off, to make it more realistic. What's going on here, by the way? Is it just a reflection of, yeah, it is. If I take this, visibility, gloss, visibility, turn that off. Yeah, that makes more sense. What's this? Is it these? Gloss. Gloss, yes. Take them off so they're not reflecting. I really like the symmetry we've got going on with this. I really like that, especially because we're doing a straight on view. So that looks really nice. But so what we're going to do, we're going to add an HDR to our image. But what we want to do is we don't want the HDR to light the scene really. Not too much, but we want the reflection. So the good way to do that is go to shading, world output. Add another background node in with a mix shader. I'm going to mix that in here. And we're going to add a light path node. Is camera array, so is camera is in the camera view into the FAC. Then we're going to add an environment texture, which is going to be our HDMI, HDRI. And we're going to use just a baseline one that I use here. This is Empty Warehouse. It's called Empty Warehouse from HDR Haven. It's actually not a product photography one, but I just think it works really well. In my experience, texture coordinates are from HDR Haven if you want to get it. Texture coordinate mapping generated to the vector, vector to the vector. Now if we open up, you'll see that we should, as you can see, we now have, it's entirely overexposed, but we have reflection inside the, we have reflection on the metallic object, which makes it just look a lot more realistic. The problem is that we have way too much exposure, but as you can see, when I reduce the exposure, it now looks quite nice. And now what we can do, we can increase the background of the image, background is in the white in the background, without affecting the lighting on the object. So we're gonna play around with the lighting now. We're gonna reduce the contrast. We're going to try some other HDR maps too, and then we're going to, the way we're going to get away with having this reflection here but not the reflection of the HDRI map, is that we're going to go in Photoshop and we're going to Photoshop a white background in the background and then paint on, brush on this reflection, so we just have this and just completely white background. So really all we really care about right now isn't anywhere around here. To be honest, we don't even really care that much about the white background. You might want it a bit white because we're still going to use this reflection, right? So this reflection that like here needs to be quite bright to match the background. But the main thing is just how this looks, how the product looks, and how the reflection looks. Because we're going to change the white background anyway. We're going to make it completely white. So don't worry about all these reflections here. Worry about the HDR map and all that stuff. So we're going to go next. We're going to go add a hue saturation node after the color and completely turn down the saturation, meaning that the color of the HDR map is not going to be affecting the color of our model. This is a very good HDRI I've found for product photography, but you can use as many as you like and adjust them however you feel is best to get the results that you're looking for. So the problem with the photo studio ones for this is that they often don't have much in the background. They don't have like people, buildings, where they don't have enough to reflect on a metallic object. So you might want to use something like a city one or just the Empty Warehouse one that we're using. The city one looks quite nice. It's got quite a good vibe to it. It's quite interesting. You can also turn, I guess you can see this Empty Warehouse is a blurred one, so you can't really see what actually in the background. I mean, you think as a brand thing going on here, the city one doesn't really make sense for a Hotel Chocolat chocolate machine. If you could get maybe an image of a cafe and reflect it, that could be really nice. That would make a lot more sense. And or a kitchen or something, because that's where this product's going to be. Yeah, there's lots of things you can do. So right now, part of the problem, just a little bit, is that the HDR is going to be lighting our product. So as I turn this up to, let's say I turn this up to 25, it's going to light our product. So what we want to do instead is just turn this down to something very small, like 0.2, to the point where it's not really affecting our product, and it's more the lights in our actual scene that are affecting the product. And we just want the reflection. That's all we want it for. We just want the reflection, not it to actually light our product. We want to do that artificially with the area light, so we have more control. Honestly, I'm probably going to end up going back to I mean, this is quite good. This is quite nice, I guess. But I'm probably just going to go back to Empty Warehouse. It's just such a classic that always looks very nice. So we'll go up to 1 to get, I guess, a little bit more actual... I guess there's a couple more we could try. Maybe quickly cinema lobby. That looks quite nice. Cave wall. The auto shop's quite good. It's quite a nice one. This bridge. Nah, doesn't really make sense. Equally, you could just turn it off and then try play around with the background. It's here now, sorry. If you unplug this, unplug this, unplug this, plug this back in, and then turn this up. You can play around with this so it's... Right, but you're always going to have this problem with the reflection, so... Is camera ray. Not enough space. Is camera ray there. I mean, this is quite nice. It looks more like a cafe style or more kitchen style, so I'm actually really liking this. Yeah, I like this. It looks like a kitchen. You said this is the window, this is still, and that definitely is in line with more what we're actually looking for the product. Let's turn denoising on, optics. Let's go down a bit. Let's try the lights. Let's try turn them to 1. Okay, maybe we try turn them back up to like 5-ish. Get that nice glow going on. Now in terms of the size, right? I'm thinking let's go on this object. I'm thinking like that's also, so we're just playing around with textures now pretty much. Go into the mesh, turn that down to black. That makes more sense. Do that in a little bit. So in terms of the shape, I'm still not sure it's actually correct. So I'll go in layout here. Actually just go in modeling and just make a new tab here. Bring in our reference image of it straight on. Or we could find one off Google of the existing Hotel Chocolat Velvetizer. as an existing render. Just bring it into our thingy. Not on the actual thing. Oh my god, it's so big. 90, 100, 0. So I feel like the top is not as small as we've made it. I feel like this goes down a bit further. I've also got the reference image here of the actual product. It's close. I'm not saying it's not close. I think it just needs a few more adjustments. That feels pretty good. So let's turn our thingy up. Ah yeah, one thing to consider as well. Obviously the normal one has, when it's it depends on the render obviously, but when it's in the machine that actually uses to, you can see from this that when it's in the machine it has the black bottom when it's plugged in, but this isn't plugged in, so it doesn't really make sense to have the black bit and not the wire. But as you can see from, like, let's say this render and stuff, when you take it out it doesn't have the black bottom, but I think it does. It have like a slight black section at the bottom that we should add in. What do we think? Maybe we should increase the sharpen the edge at the bottom here, maybe. Yeah, I think that definitely makes more sense. It's weird because, like, in these photos the product looks more like more fat and stuff, but like in the actual reference images that I've taken, you can see it's actually not. Although no, I guess it is. Yeah, it's definitely, the shape's definitely wrong. If I take one of these photos, yeah, it definitely goes like more out and then in. Yes, let's get this right. So it's less like linear. It's like everything underneath here is kind of wrong. So it goes more like, let's get this in. So it's like the initial part here kind of goes in a bit to like here. I'll adjust all the booleans and stuff in a bit. And it kind of goes in a fair bit for the handle, then straight up to the top. And then I'd say the edge loop here where it's more like chonky still. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. We're back with more renders. Yeah, the shape's definitely getting. The shape's definitely better. The logo's a little bit lower. That's definitely better in terms of size. Yeah, that definitely makes more sense. Maybe there's like still like a bit more of a difference between here. Yeah, that's definitely better. Now these surprisingly aren't that messed up, to be fair. They just need like a little bit of an adjustment. Maybe we go a little bit more out from there. I think maybe like a bit lower and out more on the top. Performance 5 on top. Okay, let's render this out just for now. See what it looks like. So yeah, I've done the same problem. Shading. Let's remove this. I've done the same problem. I've, on the base, not hidden the booleans in the render. Let's mesh. Let's go again. Ferrari's looking for us. Alright, I've got this one on. Okay. So reflection quality is not where we need it to be. At all. What? How good? Let's check. How? What one are we using? Colorful Studio. It's in 4K already, so it's already high quality. But let's see if we can just get it at like 16 or something instead. Colorful Studio 16K. Let's try that instead. Mr. Blue Sky. Right. We've got the F1 on the on my phone. Right. We're downloading the as you can see the HDR right now. So it's from HDR Haven. This is the one that we currently got on. It's obviously quite a big download. It's 16K, so. Alright, I've got so many things open. Let's just close a lot of these. Need that. Okay, let's go into World tab. Let's try this. Let's do its thing for a minute. It updates everything with the new HDR. HDRI. I'll put what I might smooth this in post. Yeah, I'm gonna attempt to smooth off the HDRI in post production in Photoshop. Let's render, shall we? It's one of the nicest McLaren liveries. Let's see if we can Google something. Um, let's give this a go. I'm just thinking now, if we go to our HDRIs, go on our massive 16K render, 16K environment texture. And then let's go here and filters, blur, Gaussian blur. Add a blur. To be honest, I think it's quite obvious it's overkill with the 16K anyway. Let's just use the 3K one. It didn't make any noticeable difference. We're in Q3. Giovinazzi got into Q3. It's impressive. Filters, blur, goes in blur. Right, export it as 4K blurred. Go to here, kind of studio. Definitely helps, doesn't it? Yeah, that definitely does the job. That definitely does what we're looking for. So let's blur it some more. So this is before. This is now. This is before. This is up before. Go into the blurred version. Yeah, it does just reduce that, doesn't it? Wow, Chocolat fastest ever. Okay, what I want to do, got a bit of a problem here. So I select. That's better. Shading. Now that we've got like more smooth reflections by blurring the HDR map, which is a cool little tip for anyone. Let's try. Let's render this out. Very impressive from Charles Leclerc to go at the moment first. Very impressive from him. What's going on there? I still need to smooth out some of these edges and things, but apart from that, it's looking good. Maybe I need. It's obviously. Oh, that helps. One sec. I did a shade smooth on there and it helped. Nice. Let's give it a render. Might not, let's get back in this view. 4 minutes left on the F1 qualifying. Okay, so adding in the. So now I've added a shade smooth to the object. I didn't think I'd need to because I've already had a subdivision on it, but I guess I did. Add the need to add the shade smooth to reduce the distorting of the HDRI. Let's see if I add the normal version back and we get. Yes, we do. Does that look better or worse? Can't really tell. Let's do two renders, one with the blurred HDRI and one without blurred HDRI, and see which one looks better. So don't worry about the background, we're going to change that anyway. All we care about is this reflection looking nice and the actual model. We're going to go image. This is not correct. Do one with it normal again. Last laps on the F1 qualifying. Actually, I wanted to make this change, so I might as well do it anyway. I think this, like, I think near the end, near the bottom. Would I make a short tutorial in the future? What, for this? Yeah, I likely would. If you mean this, Joko, then probably yes. Is the answer to that. I probably will make a short for this. There we go. That's looking nice. I like that. But yes, I will likely make a short tutorial on this. Just a 1 minute blast through with quick tips from the entire project. Yeah, I'll likely do that because they do really well shorts, so it's good for the channel to do them. That was a horrible that. There's loads of cars in the way. Yes, 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 yes. We're looking very nice. Very happy with this. This really throws out the F1 Championship if Hamilton qualifies like 5th or something for this Monaco Grand Prix, where it's hard to overtake. It's going to be really good. Thanks, Joko, for the subscribe, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate that very much. We're just waiting for renders at the moment, so a bit boring, but we're just watching the F1 qualifying while we wait. Look at that. Look at... Oh! That's not a bad thing for him. That actually worked out great for Leclerc. So he's on pole and he's crashed with 20 seconds left. The session got stopped and then everyone had to stop their laps. That's amazing. Okay, let's save this as progress 1. And then let's add one in with the blurry HCR to get the more smooth approach and see if that looks better. By crashing. Amazing.
What a dramatic end to qualifying. It should be big celebrations for Ferrari for a first pole since Mexico in 2019. It should be massive celebrations for Charles Leclerc, the first Monegasque driver to take pole in his home Grand Prix, but he's taken pole and it's ended like this.
Oh, he hit the barrier on the way and then broke his track rod, broke the steering arm, and straight to the scene of the accident. So this is where, oh, he missed it by a long way, didn't he? And 3 wheels on his wagon, effectively.
Haha, he crashed and he got pole. Intentional. Nice, looking good. All right, let's keep going. Okay, now we're gonna hide the. I'm gonna hide the circle. We're gonna make it transparent. We're gonna go in the render. We're gonna set it to 2. Same size though, because we're gonna use this as a mask within Blender. Okay. Photoshop time. Okay, so let's go in Photoshop. Which one do we prefer? So we've got this one. Bear in mind, don't forget about the background, and we've got this one. The more smooth. I still can't decide, so I'll probably... Alright, let's go back in Blender and re-render because I think it looks better with the little edge loop at the bottom. And also the... One sec. Another problem I just spotted. You can see here, go on to this base. Okay, let's do it like this. Nice. All right, let's render it out. Again, that's looking nicer now. That makes more sense. The shape looks good now. The handle's looking nice. The color's looking beautiful. So I think we're looking good. We just need to change the background now in Photoshop and just do a few touching up and stuff. Touching up, that sounds really bad. Do a few touches. Make a few changes. That's better. To the to the product in photo editing. So yeah. Looking at it now, I need to go. Yeah, I think I do. I think I need to go. First of all, just out a bit here, and then more actually here, just down. Try to select everything there. So how's this? Let's compare. It's looking good. That is definitely looking right now. All these like just slight changes, just essential for getting it perfect. I'd say like here, select everything. Go out a little bit and up. Select everything here and go down a bit. Nice. Yes. Yes, we're looking good. Looking. How is it now? How is it now? Okay, we fixed it. Thank you for that. Oh, I appreciate that. Okay, we fixed it. Thank you for that. I appreciate that, Paramount. Okay, so now we can change the camera raw filter on here. Camera raw filter. It's raw. I can turn the clarity up. It's always a good idea. For this one, I wanted to exposure up slightly, and let's just see what it looks like with and without. It's just looking like a bit nicer. And then I would say let's export this one out. Export it out as I feel like, okay, this is what I want to do. So I want to go here. I want to filter, camera raw filter, and I want to just increase the exposure of the reflection below. Yeah, that definitely works. Just maybe not as much as that. Filter, camera raw filter. Just not as much as that. Just because it's looking a bit dark. And if we also go into the erase tool and we just erase the sides a bit more clean. That's good. Export as. Can close Blender. Oh, no, not Photoshop. Blender now. Okay, let's export it as final. And then take off this file. Export as. This will be final 2. Right there. We do want to save this. Save on your computer. Hotel Chocolat. Hotel Chocolat. As a Photoshop file. Yep, there you go. Just so we can go back to that whenever we need to. Let's go back into Hotel Chocolat and then let's try make the background. Okay, so turn this on. Thank you, Paramount, for the subscription. I appreciate that. Appreciate that very much. Welcome to the team. Alright, let's get transparent on and let's work with some colors here. So let's see what we can do. Let's turn that up. could probably get some nice colours going on. We just need to get it right. Probably will turn. Because it doesn't really matter as much. It's just the reflection needs to be correct. So let's render it out like that. Which one do we prefer actually? I still can't decide, honestly. We can use the mask we did from before too. So now the outline is going to be the right color, same with the reflections. So now we might be able to get the background looking more correct more easily. Probably actually just turn up the roughness. Can turn the glossy roughness? No. Do that slightly so it's a bit more. Maybe give that a go. But it might be alright though. It might be alright. Okay. Save it. Save as progress 5. This is our 5th. Not really our 5th render, but 5th version of the render. So we'll just open a new Photoshop file for this one because it's slightly different what we're working with here. Well, not really, but. Okay, let's open up our new render. Let's add the mask and we're going to do the same process again. Make 10-minute tutorial for beginner. It's a good idea. It's a good idea and I'll get on that, don't worry. Okay, scale that up. Take this back to the middle. And then let's right click and delete this layer mask. Remove this. Go solid color. And let's make a color that is matching. We can make it like this. We can make it like white. This is quite a nice color. And then delete. So same thing again. Delete this. Go B, and then paint the reflection in like this. Erase tool, which is there. Control plus plus. Just fade that out a bit so it's not as. Very nice. I mean, we could try a lot of different colors. Back to the erase tool here. No, not that. This. If we go onto our Save this. Hotel shock or chocolate colored. Filters 3D filters camera raw. Let's just make a few little adjustments. Change the clarity, exposure up a little bit. Yeah, I like that. And then let's try to get rid of some of these white outlines around the outside. There you go, that's better. Not that much. Like that. Yeah, that's better. And then I think maybe just a little bit darker on this. Let's export this as a new file, final 3. I guess I should probably try it with the sharp the sharp backgrounds too. Let's do that. And then I also I'll probably leave the tutorial there. I'll leave the live stream more like there. I probably will change the angles a few times, but for this tutorial, this is kind of all we're looking to do. So. Thank you, Apple Bo, for the subscription. Appreciate that. Thank you, man. You're awesome. I'm not awesome, you're awesome. Alright, let's run this one out. It's gonna take its time, but okay. I think do I prefer it with this? Definitely gives off like a cafe reflection. You got the brick wall and stuff. I'm not sure which one I prefer still. That's why I was still rendering both, I guess. 6. And then we're just, because it's nice and easy now. Oh no, I did it wrong. Whoops. I was supposed to take no. I was supposed to turn these off. Whoops. Film. Transparent. Almost done. And I want to do like a little, I want to rotate the product to the left a bit, like 25 degrees, maybe 35, 15 degrees, so that you can see the on button, and it's just a different angle pretty much. What is your PC configuration, I think you mean? So I have an RTX 2070 Super, and then a Ryzen 5 3600. That's a graphics card is an RTX 2070 Super, and the CPU is a Ryzen 5 3600. I do want to upgrade, but at the moment PC parts, especially graphics cards, are so hard to come by, and I'm good for now, but I would like to in the future. Okay, let's add it in, shall we? Number 6, whack it in, put it over the top, make any adjustments that we might want to make. Filters, maybe we increase the clarity and the exposure again, just to get a little bit more detail in there. Just the tiniest bit, pretty much. Honestly, be better. Maybe just render one with as it is, and then just for comparison, might be better without. Final 4, and then let's do a side-on view, shall we? Let's do one side-on. So if we take our model and we select, okay, very important now, we get these booleans back out, select, deselect cameras and lights, remove this, everything should go with it, and we rotate it slightly. Let's hide these again. So now we have the on button there, showcasing that. Let's get these out again because I want to rotate it a little bit more. There we go. And then let's add in back our circle and our film. Let's go back to white for now. So you've got this new reflection down here that we need to consider. I'm just realizing as well, it's not quite in the center, and that is very important for the render. So let's get everything back out again. Unfortunately, select these, the camera. Perfect. We can even try Yes, you need tutorial for a beginner. Where you from? I am from the UK. Okay, nice. Boom, 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 boom. Let's render this out now. One sec. This isn't aligned properly. Probably because it's not in all the way, probably. Okay, it's not happy with that at all because we changed. Alright, it's not enjoying this. Let's just say that. Right now I'm trying to figure out why. Hide me button. Trying to make it look nice without a boolean for now. It seems to have found a big amount of beef with the boolean. Okay, that's good. Let's render it. Once this is rendered, this will wrap everything up. Okay, let's save this. As it'll be 7, we need to save it as. Let's make our mask, so get rid of this. Film transparent. Render 2. We can call this side mask, I'd say. Right, let's do the same thing in Photoshop with the new file. So we'll do white for this. We'll go add it in. Add in our mask. Select our mask. Make a new one down here. Copy and paste. Put it in the middle. Delete the layer mask. Reduce the mask that we originally put in, and then add a solid color of white. Or you can experiment with a bit of black or stuff to be fair if we wanted. But yeah, we'll do white for now. Delete the bottom and then B, and then let's paint on the reflections there. Use the erase tool to erase the sides and get it more clean. Not that much. Just want to clean it off. Okay, very nice. With this, we could add we could add another solid color. We can make it like black. Could definitely do a dark render, but for now we'll keep it white. I want to go just on the original layer. Hello, Yusuf, man. Thank you for tuning in. We're almost done now, but we're gonna as soon as I finish, which will be shortly, the video will go up on the channel, so full to watch for everyone. Okay, and then we're gonna export this as final number 5. And this is what we have. Okay, so I don't save that one. So from the beginning, we have this render. So straight on with the smooth reflections. We've got straight on again, but with the clear reflections. Then we've got straight on with smooth reflections with the colored background. We have straight on with sharp reflections with the colored background, and then we have a side on view which looks really nice actually looking at it. We're gonna probably do a colored one too, but not on stream. So that is wrapping everything up for this one. I'm gonna make the thumbnail for this and then upload it so you can watch through the entire thing and see how I did everything, and give it a go for yourself. Yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. Thank you for the subscriptions that we've had along the way, and have